Music, one thing that has been there in the human history since the time prevalent, since the prehistoric times when human have not learned to write, uh, not learned to convey their emotions using their writings or any other literature skills, but music has been there. If we take a look at our history, our own Indian civilization's history, or we talk about any civilization in the world, we can see that there are so many songs, there are so many stories passed on with verbal communication, and to make them more memorable, they were always created in form of a rhyme, so that people remember it throughout and will pass on to the next generation. Many of our great epics, such as Ramayana and Mahabharata, they have been passed down verbally in the form of music, and much later they were actually put into manuscripts, which we are reading today. So today we will understand more about how this music and human mind connection works with our Toastmaster Day. With this, let me open meeting number 328, the bang of a gavel. Can I have a round of applause for everyone? Now, with this, I would like to pass on the baton of today's meeting to our Toastmaster of the day. But before that, let me take a quick guest introduction. May I please request Ayan to unmute himself and introduce himself to the club in 30 seconds or less. Tell me about yourself and how do you get to know about speakers and Toastmasters?
Yeah, morning everyone. So, as like I am in Bangalore right now. So basically, I came to know about Toastmaster from my wife. So my wife is HR. So like I have a lot of communication issue, and I'm such a in that field like uh, in game development or sort of. So I need to talk a lot. So I think I feel I am lacking a lot of to express myself very clearly to others. That's what I joined Postmaster.
Thank you, Ayan. Thank you for introducing and welcome to the club. I hope that we are able to fulfill your set expectations.
Yeah,
and to make sure that you get the most out of this meeting, I request you to please stay till the end of the meeting.
yeah.
Next, may I please request Utkarsh to come on camera if possible and introduce himself to the club.
So good morning, everyone. My name is Utkarsh Batra. I'm 20 years old, and right now I'm a student. I'm pursuing BBA from NMIMS Mumbai. I'm here in Bangalore for a period of 2 months for internship. Then I'll be going back to Mumbai. I got to know about Toastmaster from my father's friend, and my father persuaded me to try it once. So this is my first time, and I'm here to learn to speak more clearly and confidently, and also connect with like-minded people. So yeah.
Thank you, Utkarsh. Thank you. Now, before we go further into the meeting, I just remembered that I missed about asking my regular questions before the start of any meeting. So, for the benefit of the guests and as a questionnaire to our members, let me ask you a quick 5 questions. Question number 1: when was Toastmaster founded?
1924.
Right answer, Anjali. Toastmasters were founded in 1924. Can someone tell me who founded Toastmasters?
Medley.
Ralph C. Medley.
Well, medley is the right answer, and somehow medley is also a collection of songs and music. So it's a perfect question for today's meeting as well. Toastmasters were founded by gentleman Mr. Ralph C. Medley in 1924. Can someone tell me where was Toastmasters founded?
Columbia.
California.
California. And
YMCA
Venkatesh
California.
has the right answer, YMCA Club, California, Santa Ana. Now, next question. When was Speakers and Toastmaster founded?
2012.
2012. I think I see that the brothers are winning this round today. Speakers and Toastmaster founded in 2012, September 2012. And this used to be an advanced Toastmaster club with only those who have completed their CC manuals. But with the introduction of the pathways, now Speaker and Toastmaster is open to all from every walk of our life, and everyone is welcome here. Now, for the last answer, can someone tell me what is our today's meeting number?
328.
328. And I see that someone was listening. Thank you, Vishal. And with this, I pass on the baton of meeting number 328 to a wonderful Toastmaster a day, a genius who is interested in human history, human civilization, how the mind works, and also Vedic learnings of India's glorious past. With this, I pass on the baton to Toastmaster a day, Toastmaster Abhishek. Toastmaster Abhishek, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Tanwa, and good morning, everyone. So, how everyone is feeling? Bit dull? Correct. So, here is a song for you. Just listen for 10 seconds.
We can't listen anything.
I think we cannot listen to the song. Yeah.
You feel?
We can't listen to your song.
Okay, 1 second.
You have to adjust the audio setting to same as system.
Is it audible now?
Nope.
No.
No? Audible?
In the no, Abhishek, it's not. In the audio section, Abhishek, you have to just click it, and there is an option for select a microphone. There you have to select same as system. Then you can able to do it.
Okay. Okay, I was playing from mobile. So, was it not audible? Like nothing you heard? Nothing. Okay. I think-
Abhishek, maybe you can sing the song for us.
Okay, it was just like rock music. It's my life, yeah. Or any rock music. So whenever you listen to any rock song or loud sound, then how do you feel? Do you feel dull after that?
Energetic.
Anyone else? Does it allow you to remain dull or be more energetic? Or you
It
start,
uplifts the mood.
yeah, correct. And so do you like rock music just when you wake up in the morning after like very good sleep of 8 hours? Do you like rock music or you like in the evening?
In the evening, mostly.
Okay. And have you thought that in the morning, what do you like? Which song?
Songs which are soothing, not too loud, because you've just woken up, so your mind takes time to process things, and hence you start with slow songs.
Okay, that's correct. So the entire thing, it works like it's based on certain energy system in the body. So from the yoga system, or you can say ancient system, people, they have identified 6 or 7 chakras, or you can say, or energy points in the body, which starts from the base chakra. So base chakra is, you can call as Muladhara chakra, and then it goes to navel chakra, then it goes to heart chakra, throat, and at the top. So these are the energy points which is identified by ancient sages, or it's a lot of people in the West also, they have identified. And why it's important? Because when you are little bit dull, when you feel little bit anxious, then you like rock music, a very loud music, because it will not allow you to remain dull. It activates your base chakra. So that is the whole thing. And as you are more refined, more if you go up, then you will like little bit piano, flute, or guitar. So guitar mostly affects your navel chakra. And if you are more refined, if you go a bit up also, then it will come flute, that will affect your heart chakra. So you cannot start directly from flute. Like if you just if you are very anxious, if you are very much dull, just try listening for flute or any guitar. Like you will not feel like, you cannot enjoy that one for 20-30 minutes. Am I correct? Anyone? So this is based on the human mind, like from the bottom, slowly, gradually it goes up. At the top, if you see like jingle bell or little bit in the temple, you have that bell. So that one is very subtle. So that one you like, that will be at the topmost chakra. So all the body parts, it affects all the body parts. And this is well depicted. If you go to any like ancient temple, so what do you find? Anyone has any idea about the ancient temple which anyone has visited in Tamil Nadu or in Karnataka? How it's organized? Any idea about that? Anyone?
Yeah. I recently had gone to Rameshwaram. Pretty organized, I must say.
Yeah, one of the temples I've seen the video and seen the video also, and I found also that from in the outside you'll have big drums, very big drums. It will very big drum. They'll play very loud music. Then when you enter one more gate, there'll be 7 or 8 gates. Then we'll have little bit gonj, bit lower than the drums. Then you enter more inside. Then you will have this conch will be there. Conch will be there. Then you enter more inside. Then you will have bell. Then that jingle bell little bit inside. If you go, then we'll have bell and jingle bell. So slowly, gradually, it affects like first, the whole concept was based on the fact that first they want you to wake up the base chakra, then they will gradually move up to the navel chakra, then heart chakra, then they will move up to the topmost. So when you're very much relaxed, then what music you like? Suppose you have meditated, exercised, and very much relaxed. Do you like rock song? Anyone? Or Toastmaster Vishal or Toastmaster Dhavani? Anyone?
Yeah.
Right,
Do
there-
you,
Yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead then.
There's no use of relaxing if you're going to listen to rock music.
Yeah, correct. Because rock music, the whole purpose of rock music, yeah, correct, DTM Ramlal. So whole purpose of rock music is makes you little bit energetic and doesn't allow you to remain dull. And it activates your base chakra. Similarly, the more refined you are, you like flute or you like just the bell or jingle bell. Or I have this one also. This is more refined. You just play this one. So this one, the effect it will give, this one has a very soothing effect. So that is the whole music which was founded, which was discovered earlier by our ancient sages, and which we can include in our life. And the benefit it will be through the music, you can create a inner space. Because when we have certain music, so have anyone identified what is the difference between a music which has sound, which has some words, and music which doesn't have any words? Anyone?
Music with sound impacts the nervous system.
Correct.
Music with words impacts emotional, at the
Yeah.
emotional level.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. Thank you, DTM Ram. So music with, as said by DTM Ramlal, music with sound has more relaxing effect, and music with words, it will engage your left brain also. And it has emotional connect also. So with sound, without words, you will have like, you can create a space. If you just listen to flute for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, if you listen to more subtler sound, just a bell sound and something meditative sound, then you create a space. And when you create a space, then meditation happens. So that was the whole process of ancient, you can say, Vedic education, a Vedic society, which they created to create the space within. Then the meditation happens. So that is the whole thing. And most of the music which has words, it also keeps our left brain engaging. So with that in mind, I will just like to explain how the Toastmaster is organized. So Toastmaster, we have prepared speeches, which is people they present for 5 to 7 minutes. Then we have table topics where people, it's an impromptu speech where they speak for 1 or 2 minutes. After that, we have an evaluation section where the people they are evaluated. And for today, we have a special session, an educational session, because we have only one speaker. So we have educational session from our DTM Ramlal, who is a founding member of the Toastmaster movement in India, first Toastmaster to be awarded distinguished Toastmaster. And he is also a general evaluator today. So please join me to welcome DTM Ramlal. So over to you, DTM Ramlal.
So you're on mute.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Abhishek, for that wonderful introduction. Your presentation on music and human mind was simply outstanding, because I never thought, I know whenever you speak, you do a lot of research before you make any presentations. It's wonderful. It's a treat to listen to you, because you bring out the research aspect of behind everything. So let's get on with today's session. I'm going to evaluate the entire session right from the moment it started till I'm going to take over again. But in the process, there are certain assignees who are going to help me. I cannot do it all by myself, and there are 3 assignees. I don't know if there's a 4th one called the listener. There are 3 certainly, and one of them is the first one is the timer. Can I request the timer to present his role, please?
Thank you so much, DTM Ramlal. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. Today, as timer, my role is to time each of our role takers so that they are within their time limit. We have a speech today. The timing for that would be 5 to 7 minutes. At 5 minutes, I'll show a green card by changing the background of my image. If just confirm if you all are able to see it. Got it. So at 5, it will be the green card. At 6, it will be yellow card. And at 7, it will be the red card. There will be 30 seconds of grace period for across all the segments. But please try to confine within the 30 seconds extra, else you will be disqualified. For table topics, the timing would be 1 to 2 minutes. I'll show the green card at 1 minute, yellow at 1.30, and 2, I'll show the red card. Similarly, for evaluation, speech evaluator, the timing would be 2 minutes to 3 minutes. At 2, I'll show the green card. At 2.30, I'll show the yellow. At 3 minutes, I'll show the red card. For grammarian, R counter, and even for my report towards the end, when general evaluator will call me, the timing would be at 1 minute, I'll show the green card, 1.30 yellow card, and at 2, I'll show the red card. So that's all from my side. I'll bring my report when called upon by the general evaluator.
I think the timing for evaluation is 2 to 3 minutes.
Yes, if for evaluation, it's 2 to 3 minutes.
Yeah. Green at 2.5 minutes is orange, and 3 red. Right?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vishal, for explaining your role so very well. Can I request the R counter, please, to present his or her role?
Thank you, DTM Ramlal. Hello, everyone. The purpose of the R counter is to note any overused words or filler sounds used as a crutch by anyone who speaks during the meeting. So words like, and, but, or probably sounds like, some very extensive pauses. So as an R counter, I would be noting the usage of all of these filler words. So I request every one of you to prevent the excess usage of these words and deliver an immaculate speech today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Meenal, for that display of your role very well. Can I request the grammarian, please, to present his or her role?
Thank you so much, DTM Ramlal. Yes, hello everybody, and I'll be playing the grammarian for today. I've already started taking the notes of certain good usages in the meeting, as well as certain incorrect usages in the meeting as well. The word of the day for today is reminisce, which means to recall. The word of the day is reminisce, which means to recall or to recollect. How can we use this? In this manner. We were reminiscing about the Kishore Kumar songs. We'd reminisce about how the time had flown. I hope everybody has got the word of the day, and I would encourage everyone to incorporate the word of the day, and if somebody does, please show a thumbs up to acknowledge that the word of the day has been used. So that's my part, and I'll be coming with my report once the general evaluator calls. Till then, signing off. Back to you, G.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dhwani, for wonderfully explaining your role. I will always reminisce today's session, especially because of the Toastmaster of the day, having talked about music and the mind. And so beautifully, he does a lot of research whenever he speaks. Every word that he utters, I like to listen to with rapt attention. Do we have a listener?
No, we don't.
We don't. Okay, thank you. And with that, me and my team introduction, I hand the charge back to the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Abhishek.
Thank you, DTM Ramlal. And with that, I would like to start our first section, which is prepared speech. So our today's speaker is Toastmaster Anjani, who is an army officer, and he's attempting his icebreaker speech. And his speech title.
It's not icebreaker. The vocal variety and body language. I'll explain.
Okay, fine. So the speech title is Failures Brings Best Version of You. But before that, I would like to call the evaluator Toastmaster Sankhya. So over to you, Toastmaster Sankhya.
Thank you, Toastmaster Abhishek. So my target speaker will have an introduction to the vocal variety and the body language. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice using vocal variety or body language to enhance speech. I would wish all the best to the target speaker. Over to you, Toastmaster.
So with that, please join me to welcome Toastmaster Anjani. So over to you, Toastmaster Anjani.
Good morning, Toastmaster. My voice is audible to you.
It is.
So my today's topic is failures brings out best version of you. I have not failed. I have found 10,000 ways that won't work. How many of you have watched T20 World Cup on 3rd April 2016? Any of you Toastmaster? Nobody interested in T20 World Cup? Okay. So in last over, West Indies needs 19 runs in just 6 balls to win the T20 World Cup. Ball was handed over to Ben Stokes, but Bradford was in the strike. In first ball, Bradford smashed the 6. By smashing 4 consecutive sixes, he won the match for his team. Ben Stokes was shuttered. No one was there for him. Media started trolling and abusing him. England paid price for his mistakes by losing T20 World Cup. There was a media, he asked the question to Ben Stokes, do you think there is a future in cricket anymore? Or do you have other plans? he kept himself calm and composed. But he believed in himself and started working hard. He knows that only working hard is the single way that it helps him to keep them quiet. He got a chance in against South Africa in ODI series. He smashed 100 in just 79 balls, and he was the player of the match. And in his second chance against West Indies in Test match format, the bowler who got smashed by the Bradford 4 consecutive sixes in last over, the same stage was in the same Test match. He took 6 wickets by just giving 22 runs, and he was the again player of the match. This was just a trailer. He also the SS Cup between Australia and England. Australia needs just only one wicket to win the SS trophy. But he forget that Ben Stokes is in the field. The last hope for the England, Ben Stokes. He has smashes 100 when his country needed the most. If his single mistake will cost his team, and it helps England to win the SS Cup. It was not enough for him. His eye was on the World Cup of 2019 that was about to conduct in India. Final match on 14th July 2019 at Eden Garden in Kolkata. At last over 15 runs was required by England team in 6 balls to win the World Cup. Match went for ties and goes for super over. And again same match went for ties. But due to IC rules, England declared as winner because Ben Stokes helped England to smash most boundaries. And in that final match, he was the man of the match in the final by scoring 84 runs. And now maybe aware about that. He is the test captain of England team now. So the same story happened to me when I was in class 9th. As I was good in sports and I was taking along with the studies. In half yearly, I failed in 3 subjects. And I was putting my effort, but I couldn't able to see my results good as I was failing the exams. I went to my good friends and asked, what are the strategies should I follow to just get past somehow? He just said me, read the books. I was reading, but there was no result. I took the coaching from most famous teacher Pawan sir, and he showed me the way and how to study. At last, I just somehow able to pass the class 11 and got promoted to class 12. But there was a competition between toppers, but they forget me that I am also in that competition right now. I use the same strategy to score good marks. In unit 1, I was the second rank in the class, and I was awarded with my best teacher accountancy Sarita ma'am. At last, I would like to suggest all Toastmasters to watch a story of IPS Navneet Sikre. His video is available on YouTube. Thanks to you, Toastmaster. Back to Toastmaster Sankhya.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anjani, and for your wonderful story and coming up with the cricket story and correlating with your story also. So with that, before moving to our next section, just I would like to add one more point. Through music, you can also access your personality. So one day, what happened, like one of the loud music, I listened for 7 or 8 times or 9 times. Then I identified that I was a bit anxious, not very well, or I was not very much relaxed. Next day, I practiced a lot of exercise, yoga, breathing, meditation, something. then I didn't like that song for 10 days also. So throughout the day, just listen which type of music you're enjoying. You can access your body type, which chakra is activated, which point is activated. So with that, I would like to call and start our next section. And I would like to call DTM Ramlal. So please join me to welcome DTM Ramlal. So over to you, DTM Ramlal.
Yeah. Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Abhishek. Absolutely wonderful to be here on a Sunday morning. And then I think most of you are aware of how a general evaluation is done, right? How the meetings happen, because you've witnessed quite a lot of them happening in front of you. But there are certain protocols to be followed to make it more professional, right? Let us start from the Sergeant at Arms. The Sergeant at Arms usually focuses on the theme. He has to have some material on the theme of the day, right? For about not exceeding 2 minutes. He should not take more than 2 minutes. Because if you can do the roles in the club well, you will certainly be sought after at the district level, at the area level, and at the division level, right? And this is where we learn in the club level itself, at the club level itself. And the first one is the Sergeant at Arms. There's one role that which I really love. If you ask me honestly, it is the Sergeant at Arms. The reason being, I get an opportunity week after week to talk something about the theme of the day. No other role gives you this opportunity, although it is the most basic, role that you play in the Toastmasters. It gives you an opportunity week after week, if the meetings happen every week, to give you a chance to express yourself on the theme. Where will you get an opportunity to speak without, getting a role as a speaker? You start the meeting, you set the whole tone, you set it with punch, with power, with energy, right? This is this is the role that I love the most. Absolutely. I started off with punch whenever. And when I was the Sergeant at Arms, there was this president called DTM Arjun Rogers. I don't know how many of you know him. When he was the Sergeant at Arms, I used to be the president. When I was the president, he was the Sergeant at Arms. We used to treat this Toastmasters meeting as a tennis court. He will serve when he was the Sergeant at Arms, he will serve the theme on a platter to me as the president. And I carry it forward, give it real punch after that. And when I was the Sergeant at Arms, I used to give him on the platter the theme of the day, and he will carry it forward with punch. And it was like serve and volley, serve, volley, serve, volley. I used to serve, he used to volley. Absolutely brilliant time we had, two of us, whenever, we exchanged the roles. So I think I suggest those of you who really want to do well in the Toastmasters, take up this role. This is the most important role, right? In fact, I have put my son also into the Toastmasters. He just turned 18 last month in April, and now he's a Toastmaster. He's going to take the role of the Sergeant at Arms, the finest role that you can ever, display. After that comes the president. The Sergeant at Arms talks a few things about the theme, plus he calls the meeting to order, and then he expresses what are the ground rules that determine every meeting, right? Like, not indulging in talking subjects related to politics, sex, or religion because they're controversial. And then he hands the charge to the president. He introduces the president in a wonderful manner, in an enlightening way. The president should feel enthused to come and inspire the audience. And the president's aim should be to inspire the audience. Otherwise, and tell me honestly, what is the use of my coming to a meeting if somebody doesn't inspire? In fact, the president should entirely focus on inspiring the audience relating to the theme of the day. So if that is done, then it's marvelous. It takes, it enthuses all of us. And from there, of course, if there are any announcements to be made, he will make no doubt. But I suggest the president take on the theme initially. He will open the meeting, take on the theme, and then probably he will talk about any instructions, announcements to be made. He can do it towards the end of his talk. And president probably can use 5 to 7 minutes. The sergeant at arms, 2 minutes. Ideal, that would be ideal. Okay, 2 minutes for the sergeant at arms. All that he wants to say should be done in 2 minutes. The president will be somewhere around 5 to 7 minutes, where he will finish his address on the theme, plus any announcements we made. Within that time, he's also going to introduce the Toastmaster. The Toastmaster of the day will be, introduced as the main frame of the day. He's the person who carries the meeting forward. So he should be introduced, and all introductions should be done in a wonderful manner. Right? The person who is being introduced should feel enthused to come to the stage. In an offline meeting, of course, in an online meeting, we don't know what really happens. We don't know whether people are really enthused, but you can be enthusiastic when you make a presentation of the person who's going to take over the stage, and the person who's taking the stage again can start on a high note. The Toastmaster of the day, of course, today's Toastmaster, absolutely wonderful. Whenever he speaks, I feel like listening to him. That's because he comes up with something new. So the Toastmaster today should address again on the theme of the day. So these are the 3 roles who address something about the theme. For example, the Sergeant at Arms, the President, and the Toastmaster. They focus entirely on the theme of the day. And it is their prerogative, right? They can enjoy. If there's another role which I love, apart from the Sergeant at Arms in the Toastmasters, it is the Toastmaster of the day role. Because it gives me leverage to play around with the topic, right? It gives me leverage to play around with my ideas. All the other roles are confined, right? When I'm a speaker, I'm confined to only speaking. Sergeant at Arms only to the protocol of the meeting. President only to see that the audience is inspired. But Toastmaster, I can play around. I can play around with words. I can play around with my thoughts. I can play around with my anecdotes. I can play around the way I introduce people, because I've introduced so many of them, not 1 or 2. Every person is unique. So we have that uniqueness in introducing that unique person. So you can enjoy playing around with words. Toastmaster of the day is one role which I love, right? Because you have to introduce so many of the speakers. You have to introduce the general evaluator, you have to introduce the table topics master, you have to introduce the speakers, you'll have to introduce the evaluators. There are so many, options for us to speak as a Toastmaster. All the other roles are limited, right? So then the individual speakers, anyway, we know what to do. The role of the Toastmaster is, but only thing is, he has to see that he does not, explain anything about the, what do you call it? He should add his comments after the speaker has completed, right? And when the speaker has said something, I cannot, evaluate the speaker. Because very often as a Toastmaster of the day, I get carried away by the speaker's words. Sometimes I start evaluating. I should not evaluate the speaker, because the individual evaluator will lose. He will not have anything to say. I can maximum appreciate the speaker for delivering a wonderful talk or inspiring us, whatever. Maybe one sentence, probably yes. Right? So that you leave room for the evaluator to focus on what the speaker has done. Right? So then you also have an opportunity to introduce the table topics master. So Toastmaster today, his role is very beautiful, in fact. Right? And I think the Toastmaster Abhishek is doing very well there. And then the general evaluators role, right? And what does the table topic master do? Table topics master, again, has to have topics which are very simple, preferably 1-sentence questions, which does not make the speaker think more. Your topic should be worded in such a way that the table topic speaker can take off from where you left off. very often, we give topics which make the speaker think. That way, we don't improve in our communication skills. The purpose of a Toastmasters meeting is to see that there is generation of communication. Whatever generates communication, I should forward that. And for that, my topics have to be very simple, not to be dealt very much into depth, no deep thinking topics, no thought-provoking topics which can generate communication are the topics that have to generally yes. In a contest, yes, you can have any type of topics, but see that all topics that are given by the table topics masters generate conversation, so that I'm free to express what I want to express. Right? You should not contain a person's ability to communicate. I see, some of them really doing it well. And if you have anything to say about the topic, your own, as a table topics master, you may have your own thoughts. You can add those observations of yours after the speaker has spoken. Don't, elaborate the topic. Always give the topic to the speaker first, let him address the topic, and then you add your own viewpoints on top. Don't do it before the speaker does it, before the table topic speaker addresses the topic. I hope you understand that. If you do that, you're stealing away points from him. Right? The purpose is for him to express what he thinks about that topic. If you have your observations, those can be made after the speaker has spoken. Right? This is and see that the topics are simple, worded simply, and though are not thought-provoking. Topics which can generate, communication easily. For example, what is your favorite book? Which is your favorite book? Which is your favorite movie? These are all, topics which can be easily dealt with. Right? There are lots of topics which are, brainstorming. So those topics should be avoided by the table topics master. And what does the general evaluator do? General evaluators do not address anything on the theme. Very often, even I get carried away, because if I like the theme, I feel like talking for a few minutes on the theme. Honestly, I get certain themes really. Today's theme is really interesting, music and the human mind. I feel like talking about it. But then I'll have to refrain myself from doing that if I'm the general evaluator. My task is to evaluate them. My task is to see that, how did I feel about the entire meeting, without adding my own, substance to the theme. Right? So if I want that, if I want to speak on the subject, maybe I can ask for a special slot, but let me not include it in my general event. My task is to see that, how did the meeting proceed? Did it start on time? Did the speakers address the project objectives? And in fact, it is, as a general evaluator, I don't even have to address the speakers, how well or how badly the speakers performed. My task is how well or how off the cuff was the evaluator. As a general evaluator, I have to evaluate the evaluator. Very often I get into, I find that very many general evaluators get into the speaker's substance. That's not my role. As a general evaluator, my role is to address how well the evaluator has done. It is the individual evaluator's responsibility to see how well the speaker has done. Very often I get carried away with the speaker, and then, of course, maybe I can add, as in one or two lines about what you felt regarding the speaker, if you're the general evaluator. Correct? At times you feel influenced, so you can make your observations, but don't get into the speaker's evaluation. Your evaluation as general evaluator is to evaluate the evaluator. Did he evaluate in lines with the project objectives? So these are things, certain things that we need to keep. And see that except the Toastmaster of the day, the rest of us can actually have written scripts. Toastmaster of the day, of course, he can play around. The Sergeant at Arms can have a written script, which he will not exceed. The President, of course, has chalked out. I mean, he knows how to go about what is the first thing he's going to address. He is going to open the meeting, and then address the theme, and then any announcements to be made. After that, he'll introduce the Toastmaster of the day. But all this should be done with full of energy. And Sergeant at Arms just sets the tone, and President of the meeting takes it higher. And the Toastmaster, I mean, anchors the whole meeting in a wonderful manner, right? And the general evaluator will evaluate the entire meeting, right? I mean, he doesn't get into the substance, right? His task is only to evaluate how everyone is performed with respect to the objectives, no doubt, right? Many of us succeed when it comes to being the general evaluator. That is because we are also human beings. We get carried away by what we listen to, what we witness, right? So let us keep ourselves within the boundaries of what I'm supposed to be doing. So I'm going to evaluate the Sergeant at Arms performance as general evaluator. I'm going to evaluate how the President is done. I'm going to evaluate how the Toastmaster of the day is done. I'm going to evaluate the evaluators of the individual speakers. I'm going to evaluate how the table topics master has done. Again, I'll not get into the topics, right? So it's all how well we can present a better meeting next time. Thereby, we learn that every meeting can be excelled as we progress. So if we focus on our roles very well, I think we'll have a great meeting. And I think I close there, I hope. And after that, the general evaluation is done. You hand charge back to the Toastmaster. Toastmaster gives me charge after he presents the whole meeting, gives me charge. I evaluate the meeting as general evaluator and give it back to the Toastmaster. Right? I hope I've been very clear. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Any doubts regarding anything? I mean, because there are a lot of areas which we don't understand, which we don't know. Play your role as general evaluator in a professional way. Stick only to the evaluation. Don't get carried away by what is happening around. Of course, I'm influenced, no doubt. I'm also influenced by the theme, by the contents of everybody. My task is I will never get into the contents of a speaker. Right? As an evaluator, yeah, any.
I had a question related
Yes,
to
please.
team mode role.
Yeah.
So for team mode role, you
Yeah.
also have the theme in front of you, and Sergeant at Arms has already spoken a bit about it. Since
Yeah.
the audience is totally new and might be diverse, so
Yeah.
in that case, the team mode is speaking a lot about what is the theme and maybe some questions. How much should the person expand? I mean, it should be very elementary, or should it be too inside the topic so that everybody could relate? Because
Yeah.
session happens, right? So
The choice is yours, because see, you have the specific defined time. You have to hand back charge to the meeting has to conclude well within time. See, if you want to get deep into the subject, you can do it, provided you can make it interesting, right? Provided you can make it interesting, and provided it gets confined to the time that is at your disposal. Don't expand just because you love to speak about it. See, for example, today's Toastmaster may love to speak about music, all about music, but then he has to confine whatever he wants to say within the time that is given to him. Can you make it interesting? You can go deep into it. You can just be on the surface of the subject. It does not really matter.
yeah,
But make it interesting. Make it interesting. Yeah.
sorry, this question came because recently I played this role team mode. and the reaction of the audience might be mixed. I might relate if I am too deep into the subject. I might not relate. So that is diverse. That's why. Thank you.
The choice is yours, entirely yours. You must enjoy your role. Always one thing, keep this in mind. Whoever evaluates, don't worry about the evaluator. You enjoy your role. We are all here in the Toastmasters to enjoy your roles, right? Whatever you're doing, enjoy yourself. Be in it completely. If you want to dwell too much into the topic, the choice is yours. But get the pulse of the audience. If the audience feels that you're boring them, switch gears. Right? Because as Toastmaster of the day, you're the one who keeps the enthusiasm flowing from person to person. In fact, this is one role I really love because I can play around the way I want to. I can be really free to express. No bars. I mean, nobody can hold me back from what I want to say as the Toastmaster of the day. Correct? When I'm introducing a speaker, I can be really elated introducing the speaker. When I can use quotes, I can use examples, I can use humor. I can be on the subject, I can be off the subject. Why confine myself only into the depth of the subject? Right? Play around this role, enjoy yourself.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, anything else?
Yeah, sir, I have one question.
Yeah.
In terms of the timer, counter, and the grammarian role, right?
Yeah.
Since these roles are very limited to what they have to speak, is there any way, on which these roles can be made more interesting or exciting in terms of presentation or in terms of any other content which can be include, but of course, it should not sidestep the role that they are taking in.
Correct. Treat it also like a prepared speech. Have an opening, define the opening, have an opening and a conclusion. Only 1 or 2 lines, not more than that. The body is your role. Body is the timer's role. You're presenting in brief again. Don't say so and so took so much time. You can say Toastmaster of the day, 20 minutes. General evaluator, 20 minutes. Speaker, 5 minutes. 5.6 minutes. Don't don't elaborate the sentences. There's not required. You can get rid of those verbs. Use that time which you have in eliminating the verbs to open your role very well. Opening of the role. I mean, you can make it interesting. You can come out with a quote relating to time if you're a timer. And then you can conclude with a quote again. But see that it is as brief as possible. Right? Because your role is limited as a time. Your role is limited as an account. Your role is limited. In fact, I enjoy some of the grammarian roles. Some people do exceedingly well. They start off with wonderful grammar and then they highlight what is happened in today's meeting, and then they know. I'll end on a high note again. In fact, Garden City had one Mr. Cherian, one of the finest grammarians. He was, I believe, teaching grammar. One of the finest grammarians ever. We would love to listen to him because he would make it so interesting. He would bring in his own, beauty to the presentation. You can. Everybody has his or her uniqueness. You don't have to be bland. Add some masala, man. But see that the masala is within the time that is allotted to the role, not beyond. Right? Masala with the regular food. You can bring in your own uniqueness. It need not be, it differs from person to person. You can bring in uniqueness, no problem. You can do it. But see that it is well within the time. And how you can contain it within the time is, you need not state in full sentences. You can say accounting. Toastmaster Abhishek, 5 hours. Toastmaster Utkarsh, 3 hours. So you're getting rid of those verbs in between, verbs, adjectives, whatever. You have a lot of time left for you. So making it crisp. When you're making your role presentation is very crisp. Rest of the time, you can utilize to project yourself, to promote yourself, your own unique individuality on the subject. All of us can do it. It is possible. But you have to think a little bit. How can I confine myself within the time? Play around, enjoy yourself. Enjoy the roles. Anyway, come what may, I'm going to enjoy the role. I'm going to be in the role. It is possible. It's possible. And one of the roles that gives you that freedom is Toastmaster of the day. Freedom to go around, come back, play around, then play it slow, play it fast, play whatever you want to do, you can do. Yeah, any other, please? I hope I have addressed your.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can be free, provided please keep it within the time. You can do whatever you want. You can bring about novelty, creativity to the role. That is your uniqueness. That's how you improve as a speaker. Everybody has something special in him or her. Yeah. Yes, please. Any other?
Yeah. So can we define time also for TMOD or anything?
Yes, TMOD has to. No, it's not. You cannot define time, but Toastmaster of the day should be. And again, let's not use it as TMOD and all that. Let's address in full form Toastmaster of the day.
Okay.
That gives more punch.
Yeah.
TMOD, I mean, it doesn't carry weight, right? You can't define the time for a Toastmaster of the day because he does. I mean, he knows when to. It depends on when he's given the charge, and he has to keep his eye always on the clock. So you should give at least 20 minutes for the general evaluator, and let the general evaluator 20 minutes. He should confine all that evaluation, including his role assignees, who assist him. They also should finish well within 20 minutes. Very often, general evaluators take long. Even I'm susceptible to that. But I know that I have to confine myself within 20 minutes. I should not exceed 20 minutes. Maximum maybe another, just like you have grace period for everything. Maximum maybe I can exceed for another 5 minutes if the meeting is too long. If the meeting has many roles to be evaluated. Please see that the general evaluator also does not exceed 20 minutes. So, which means to say, have a bell or some kind of indication like the timer can 15 minutes, the timer can show that the general evaluator 15 minutes is up, green, 18 minutes, amber, 20 minutes, red. Right? So that we are all crisp in our roles. It is the crispness that brings about professionalism. Because otherwise, all of us love to speak. We don't know where to stop. Toastmasters, yeah, yes, please.
Sorry, I just wanted to pick up on the answer what the question was. The question was, can we define the time for TMOD or Toastmaster of the day? So there were certain scenarios. No, I'm just saying there were certain scenarios where in meetings I or somebody had to do that to prepare agenda in that scenario because as humans we tend to do that. We tend to have a lot of research done and then speak about it.
Yes, correct.
Is it a good practice or is it not a good practice?
It is a good practice because see, you know when the meeting starts, you know when the meeting concludes, you know how many roles there are to be played, you know how much time each one of the roles takes. The remaining time should be allotted to the Toastmaster of the day. He can utilize that time because all the other roles are clearly defined. Sergeant at Arms 2 minutes. Let him not exceed maybe 30 seconds more. President 5 to 7 minutes, right? And then you have general evaluation 20 minutes. You have table topics again maybe 20 minutes. right? He should not exceed that 20 minutes. Then speakers have 5 to 7 minutes. If you have 3 speakers, 15 to half an hour is gone there. So the TMOD will have very less time. The TMOD will have to, be compressed based on the number of roles that others are presenting. If there's only one speaker like today, if you did not have my session, probably the TMOD could have played around with music all around. Just music, nothing else. You would have made today's meeting a musical meeting. And I'm sure you would have really loved to do that.
Yeah.
Right? So it all depends. TMOD's role is again dependent on the number of roles. So if the meeting is for 2 hours, you have to see that it ends within 2 hours. If it has to end in 2 hours, the TMOD has to compress his role. He should lessen his, remarks. He may have a lot to say on music. Maybe before I introduce every speaker, I give one sentence about music, not dwell into, the different chakras, right? Of course, he knows all about chakras, but then you have to contain yourself within the time. All of us love to speak. We should know when to stop. Professionalism is all about, especially once you get into Toastmasters, you love to speak. You will never want to stop. Professionalism is all about when to stop. When you have made your point, stop. Right? But we further go on speaking and dilute the impact. Any questions, please, Remo?
Yeah. So as a team mod, like after once the speaker he has spoken, so we can speak only for one line, or we can give a round
only,
of
only one line. Only.
Okay, because since certain
Only about if you're addressing what the speaker has said.
And
it should not be evaluated. Don't evaluate that. Evaluate the speaker.
And I've seen a certain team out, they'll give 1 or 2 speaker round of applause, another speaker nothing. So that will be like it will be partial, I think, or is it right?
You have to applaud every speaker. If nobody is applauding, what do you call, start the applause.
Okay.
You initiate the applause. And one thing you should always remember, how to improve the quality of the meeting, to keep the energy alive, keep applauding every speaker. Applaud when the speaker comes to the stage, applaud when the speaker leaves the stage. Make this a practice. So that even if you're not able to generate that enthusiasm through your words, you can generate through applause. The meeting is always on a high, note. You will enjoy it. When you applaud, what happens is, like you said, music touches your nervous system. Applause also, when you applaud somebody, it touches your nervous system. Your nervous system gets invigorated. No doubt you're appreciating the speaker, but you're doing yourself good also. Your health improves.
Yeah, correct. Thank you. Yeah, and as in TTM, we cannot have complex topics or simple topics only, or little bit moderate also.
Okay. You're talking about the theme of the day?
Table topic.
Table topics, it's always better to be topics which can generate conversation. Don't let the speaker think and speak. We are punishing him. Unless it is a competition.
Yeah, in the competition, something you have to think.
Yeah, competition, yes, because there's a contest. Generally, you must help the person to talk. If you make him think, you're cutting him short. Right? So see that they're general, so that they generate conversations. You are able to speak freely without. The purpose of the Toastmasters is to speak freely, right?
Correct.
We are not here research scientists. We are not here researching. Maybe as you go along, you can think and speak as well. So always, even there, you can. If he's an experienced speaker, you can give him a thought-provoking subject. If he's a newcomer, please give him a topic which he loves to deal with. Don't make it difficult for him. That's my, request. It's up to you again.
Yeah.
The
Okay,
purpose is to see that everybody speaks continuously, not stop him from speaking. He should know when to stop. The person who is speaking should know when to stop. I should not be a hindrance to his speaking. Right?
Yeah.
Any other, please? Regarding general evaluation. Because most of you may be taking general evaluation. So there you be professional. Confine only to your role, nothing else. Don't get into the subject.
So for general evaluator, sorry.
Yeah.
For general evaluator, should the general evaluator evaluate each role player or only the meeting?
The meeting and the role players as well, except the speakers. The individual evaluators of the speaker will evaluate the speaker. I hope that is understood.
Yes, thank you.
It is the role of the individual evaluator to evaluate the speaker. So what happens is sometimes the general evaluator also gets into the speaker's subject. And let's remember, as an evaluator, we should never get into the subject matter of anybody. We are only evaluating how well the person has done, what he could do to better the performance. Very often we get into the subject matter of speakers. That's not my area at all. Subject matter, if Toastmaster decides to talk about music and the chakras, it is his prerogative. I cannot tell him, don't talk about chakras, don't relate it to music. It is his right. It is his, like today's speaker spoke about cricket. It is his right to speak about it. He related to, his life. I cannot get into the subject matter. You are the author of your subject. You are the master of your subject. I am only here to help you how to elevate your presentation levels. Correct? I find very many individual evaluators as well as general evaluators getting into the subject matter of the speaker. That's not my role at all. Don't you agree with that?
I agree, sir. That's why this question came up to my mind. So there
Yeah,
were
I should not. It is your right. You love to speak about it. Who am I to tell you not to speak about a certain thing? I can tell you how to better it. Correct? My task is to tell you how to elevate that, how to make it better, how to rephrase it, I can tell you. Subject matter itself is not my domain. Right?
And if I should include as a general evaluator also what was happening before the meeting and after the meeting.
You can. If you have witnessed something which is not very conducive, you can talk about it. After the meeting also, if you have witnessed something not, but preferably your role is confined to general evaluation of the meeting only, strictly speaking.
Thank you.
Right? I'm not general evaluator for the whole world. Only for that particular meeting. So thereby, I'm becoming a professional. I'm confining exactly to my role. I don't go beyond. I don't exceed my role. If you're a speaker, you're a speaker. If you're a Toastmaster of the day, the only person whom I feel who has the liberty to play around is the Toastmaster of the day. Because you can't confine him. He's the one who unfolds the entire meeting to us. He's the one who makes it interesting. Right? All the other roles are confined. Is that understood? Anything else, please? Sorry if I've taken more time. I can go on. Any more questions? Thank you. And back to the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Abhishek, to play around with this music.
Thank you, DTM Ramlal, for wonderful insight into meeting rules. Please give a round of applause to DTM Ramlal. So with that, I would like to move on to our next section, which is table topics. And I would like to invite table topic master, who is Toastmaster Venkatesh, who regularly attends all the session and is very punctual. And currently he is a student and preparing for army jobs. So please join me to welcome Toastmaster Venkatesh. Toastmaster Venkatesh, over to you.
Okay. First of all, am I audible and clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Toastmaster Abhishek, for your warm welcome. So, good afternoon, everyone. Today, I am playing the role of the table topic master. First, I will talk about what is table topics. I have prepared the topics in such a way that it is connected to your personal opinion and where you have to speak for at least 1 minute and maximum of 2 minutes. And it will also help you in many ways, like reminiscing your ideas and increasing your imagination power, listening skills, and it also, most important, remove fear from public speaking. So don't hesitate to volunteer it. You have to choose your lucky number between 1 to 17, and remember that the other members do not repeat it. So who would like to come first? No one? Then I am free to choose anyone. Toastmaster Ayan.
Yes. Toastmaster Venkatesh.
Yeah. Choose your lucky number from 1 to 17.
Yeah, I've chosen. So need to say?
You have to say your one number between 1 to 17.
Yeah, 1.
1, okay. Which season you like the most?
Winter season. Yeah. So the reason I like the winter season because the number of winter clothes we can use in this particular season, and like from like vegetables and all the items, food items, we can get in that season as a variety. And also like it's a very good season to go around, like roam around or visit somewhere, visit your native. This is the good season because everywhere like school, colleges, I mean that time they have off that particular season, so it's a good time for vacation. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ayan, for your intake. I also feel winter season is the most because in northern India during summer, the weather where I am speaking is almost 43 degrees Celsius. Thank you, Ayan.
Yeah, thank you.
So, any volunteer? Then Toastmaster Brijesh Dhyani.
Yes. Hello, Venkatesh.
Choose your lucky number.
7.
7. Okay. The most important lesson of your life so far.
So, most important lesson of my life was when I failed in army selection. So then I got the job in IT sector. That was the most important lesson for me that time. So at that time I was like, I failed and I cannot do anything that time. But I have more choices that time, but I don't know that I can do what and apart from army. But then one of my brother gave suggestion that yes, you can do anything if you have not selected in army. Then he gave me a choice. Do you want to come in IT? So I selected yes. So that's the my journey to IT. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Dhyani, for your intake. I feel all the army aspirants who does not able to feel a dream, they think that only army can be their life, and it is very hard to move from this sector to other sector. Thank you, Dhyani, for your intake.
Thank you, Venkatesh.
Thank you. So next is Toastmaster Abhishek.
Okay.
Are you ready, Toastmaster Abhishek?
Yeah.
Your topic is real learning does not occur in a classroom.
Okay. Thank you, Toastmaster Venkatesh. So we have seen that real learning doesn't happen in the classroom. And there are classical examples also. We can see our Aam Aadmi Party president Arvind Kejriwal. So I'm just taking an example. He has done IIT, then he has done IS, but lot of controversial decisions he makes. He gives freebies. He takes lot of things which are against whatever education background he has come up with. And apart from that also, we can check that he doesn't resonates the correct, you can say correct, the real educational purpose. Like if you on other hand, if you just check some person who is not that much educated from the classroom, or who has just got education from other things, like some of the things from some of the different sources, he is very much successful because he has incorporated the learnings from the basic teaching, which teaching of yourself, teaching about breathing, teaching about different aspects, and those people are more successful. Like you can take example of certain industrialists also, or you can take example of certain spiritual person also, and certain other person also. So in the real teaching doesn't happen in the school, because in the school we have to, they just teaches us about rote learning, about not about how the universe works, not about how your energy mechanism of your body works, not about how you manage your mind. And that is required for being a successful person. Whatever education you do, you become IAS, you go to IIT, anyone, but ultimately you'll find a trap. Trap is that the way mind keeps on expanding, keeps on generating new ideas, new distraction traps. So with that, I would like to hand over to Toastmaster Venkatesh. Thank you. Over to you.
I totally agree on your views, Toastmaster Abhishek. Next, Toastmaster Mansi.
Is it okay if I do it camera off?
Yeah, it's okay. Choose your lucky number.
5.
Who has been the most influential person in your life and why?
Influence is an art which I have learned through many role models I've created in my life. It has changed from my journey as a student to a professional. But one person who's always remains in my whole journey was Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He's been a man of simplicity, a man of knowledge, hard work, and whenever I look at any of the quotes produced by him in any of speeches or sessions, he's always spoken about the truth he's experienced in his life throughout his journey. In spite of having all the luxuries and the status, this man has lived a life of simplicity, hard work, and he teaches the same to the student. So everything starts from the classroom is one tip I have ever spoken about, I have learned from him. So as me growing toward my journey to leadership, I would also like to be in classrooms every second day or third day. And that's what I believe is true leadership is. That's it. Thank you, Toastmaster Venkatesh. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mansi. I totally agree that APJ Abdul Kalam is the most influential person for India, and he is also known as Missile Man of India. So next is Toastmaster Dhavani.
Yes, it's funny, by the way.
Can you repeat it again?
It's funny.
Okay. So choose your lucky number.
So 4.
4. Okay. Name 3 silly things that you scare the most.
Name 3 silly things that I'm scared of the most.
Yes.
Okay, that's the question, right? Silly things. Who defined this word called silly for first thing? Let's start with that. I feel nothing is silly. If I feel to do something, I will do it. According to me, it's not silly, but according to the other person, it may be silly. You know? So I feel that there is nothing called as silly, but 3 things that I would do without using my brain is number 1. First, I would just go and annoy my mom. That is one thing that I love to do. Okay. I just go and I finish my meetings and I'll be like, Mama, Mama, Mama. I keep running behind her, Mama, Mama, Mama. And she gets so annoyed and I just love doing that. I do this number 1. Number 2, I go to my brother and I just hit him. He's elder to me, but still I just go and hit him. And there is one thing that is very stupid, but I just love doing it because that's the bond that my brother and we cherish. You know, we look back and when we speak and we talk, she's like, you did this to me. And I'm like, even you did this to me. And then we start our cat fight. So that's the second thing that I do. And the third thing is I have a niece. So yeah, my brother is married and I have a niece and she's so adorable that I just go and I just keep kissing her. I just hold her so tightly. I don't let her breathe. And that is one of the silly things that I do. She gets suffocated, but I love it. So I just start, squeezing her and just pampering her. But I feel that nothing is silly according to me. Everything we must learn to love ourselves and love our flaws. If it's silly to others, that means that person is not respecting you and not adhering to and accepting you the way you are. I believe that we all are living in a world where we talk about democracy. So let's just be open and accept everybody. Nothing is silly in this world. If you love to do it, just go and do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dhani, for your wonderful intake. I also like to reiterate my mother. She said, go and bring Maggie. In spite of Maggie, I will bring other things and she will get easily irritated. Thank you, Dhani. Next is Toastmaster Sankhya.
Sure.
Choose your lucky number.
2. Not sure if it's going to be lucky or not, but yeah, 2.
2 is already done.
Okay, 3 then.
Okay.
See, I told you I'm not sure if it was going to be lucky, but okay.
Do we have to lie sometimes?
Do we have to lie sometimes? Oh, every time. From the time, but the interesting part about lie is there are two types of lie. One is a white lie, and the second was the lie which is not so good. So white lie, as the name signifies, is tends to be very nice. And the reason for the white lie is, for example, if you are not feeling good and somebody calls you up and say, "Hey, how are you?" You have to make your voice in a much better way and say, "Yeah, I'm doing good." But on the other hand, if you want to have to take a leave from the office and your boss is really not going to appreciate that, but you really want to take it, what are you going to do? Either you're going to take a direct conflict with your boss saying, "I am going to take a leave no matter what happens," or you can take a white lie and say, "I'm not so well today, and I have to go to the doctor." So that's the white lie. So lie is part of our life. How you are going to do that and how you are going to use that to your benefit determines what type of lie you are going to play around with it. So with that, over to you, Ratmata Venkatesh.
Yeah, Toastmaster Sankya, I totally agree. When my friends calls for playing, I say today I'm not well, and that's why I say lies sometimes. Next one is Toastmaster Vishal.
Sure, Toastmaster Venkatesh. I would request probably Toastmaster Sankhya to time me. If that's
I'll do that.
Thank you so much.
Choose your lucky number.
1.
A story of your life and a message.
Well, I believe each of us has our own story from our childhood, from our days as toddlers to today, right? There are multiple stories which shapes us. The surroundings, the people with whom we interact, the society we live in, I think that's play a major role. For me, it's been my journey through various states, various cities across the entire India, and that has brought something very innate within me. And when I reminisce what has happened throughout my journey so far, I vastly collect thanks to my dad's transferable job. It brought me lots of enormous opportunities where I learned lots of culture from Guwahati to Bangalore to Hyderabad to Pune. You just name it, from Bihar to Odisha. I've covered everything. I've absorbed each of the society, how they develop, what sanctity they have, how they are treated outside, but still they do and they keep on going on. And that's where the idea of perseverance comes in, which is very core to me. When I say the idea of perseverance, it means things changes. Like my school days, my schools were changing, my college and everything, my friends kept on changing. But with this idea of perseverance, I learned that change is the only constant. And I was not afraid of change. Even now, I'm not afraid of change. What if my job changes and I have to relocate? It's fine. I can relocate. So that's that mentality of being adaptive to changes, being not very much into, oh my God, what will happen? No, something is happening. There is recession, something. I'm fine. Let the wave comes. I learn to swim. I learn to ride, and I'll walk in a better way. And that everything has happened because the change I have mastered throughout the journey so far, that have given me the confidence that I can ride the wave when it's the right time. That's all from my side. Over to you, Toastmaster Venkatesh.
Thank you, TM Vishal. I can learn that positive aspects of traveling, and many should follow it. Next one is Toastmaster Chetna.
Sure, Toastmaster Venkatesh.
Choose your lucky number.
8.
8. Which type of wedding you like? Expensive one or normal wedding?
Which type of wedding, whether expensive one or normal?
Yeah.
Generally, if we take the weddings in our Indian scenario, in our Indian system, we would like, it's like, all about spending and, keeping the day busy. The full day is completely busy and hectic for both the bride and groom's family. And also, it's about, showing the power of your finance and also about the status to what this, to of course, what the society also expects to see. But in my opinion, I feel a simple wedding is more good compared to the grand one, because I feel ultimately wedding is a bond between two different people, and ultimately the connect between two different people is more important than showing your power to the society. And I feel, see, more than showing your power and other statuses to the society, it's more important that after the wedding lasts long. It stays long, and it's, and most importantly, from both ends, there has to be happiness and joy. Rather than saying that, rather than saying in future, like, have I made the right decision? And, questioning yourself on that particular decision. So in my opinion, I feel keep the wedding simple, but make the relationship a lasting one. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Chetna. I totally agree. In my locality, I see many of their parents did not spend most of the education on children. They spend more on wedding. Thank you, Chetna. Next is Toastmaster Anjani.
Hi. So
Choose
my
your
lucky number
number.
is 13. My lucky number is 13.
Okay. Describe yourself as a role model.
From my, describe myself as a role model. Yes. So from my childhood, as I left my home at the age of about 9 years, and I explored the nation at the very young age. When I was in the hostel, I used to travel with my brother along, and in class 10, I used to travel alone. From there, I have struggled a lot, and I have done various things in my life. I achieved a lot. I'm satisfied with me, what I have done for me and for my families. For me, as a role model, being a role model is means doing something great is not means it's a role model for the nation. What you have and using its maximum, and be at a position uh, where you can take care of your families and yourself. And bas, thanks. Back to Toastmaster Venkatesh.
Yeah, I totally agree. We can use what resources we have and use it for maximum limit. So next is Toastmaster Ramlal sir. Can you take it?
Yes.
Choose your
You want
lucky
the
number.
10?
10. Okay. How you keep yourself focused and motivated?
How do I keep myself focused and motivated, Mr. Table Topics Master? One of the ways to keep yourself motivated and focused is attend Toastmasters meetings. In fact, every Toastmasters meeting adds on value to my life. One of the ways to learn, actually. I read a lot. I keep, reading books related to self-development, and they do a lot of, uplifting in my personality. I don't take anything and negatively. Of course, I see a lot of negative things happening around me, but I never allow that to ever impact me. So I always keep myself motivated through my inner self. Like Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Abhishek was speaking. Sometimes I do it using music. Sometimes I do it by reading self-development books. Sometimes I do it by attending Toastmasters meetings, because every Toastmasters meeting offers something new. Everyone is creative in some way or the other. So there's a learning that happens. So this always I'm upbeat about life, always enthusiastic, always lively. And as Toastmaster of the day said, I play music depending on my mood. I mean, if I want to excite myself, I play rock music. If I want to soothe myself, I play, soothing music like the piano, like the flute, which soothes the sentiments. So I'm always upbeat, and I read things which elevate me, things which there are certain writings, certain people are very good at writing. So I love certain writings. The flow with which they write, the lucid style with which they write excites me, especially the English language. No doubt other languages also I love to read, but English is the one that I prefer to read. Next is, of course, Hindi, and of course, at times even ghazals excite. Listening to ghazals, the way they compare things, the way they analyze the metaphors, the similes they use, the figures of speech really excite me. How can an individual ever think on those lines? These are things that really excite me, Mr. Tabletop Master.
Thank you, sir, for your intake. I can learn from so many things from your intake. Thank you, sir. Next is Toastmaster Savitri.
Hi, Toastmaster Venkat.
Yeah. Describe your role model.
Who is my role model? Yeah, my role model is always Lal Bahadur Shastri. Yeah, I am inspired when I in a small when I was young. When I heard about him, he led the simple life, and he highest possible challenges also with the coolie he faced, and also he was very self-respected person. He never asked for a money for other things, and also from the very young age he swim the Ganga river, and he could not ask the money because he don't want to ask the money, and he was very self-respected. And also even he was a prime minister while he stayed in a 2-bedroom or 1-bedroom house. He did not take a dowry from his in-laws also. Yeah, he is my role model.
Thank you, Savitri, for your intake. We heard from books that he has everything given for the nation. Thank you, Savitri. So I would like to hand over to Toastmaster Ramlal, sir.
Hand it over to the Toastmaster of the day.
Okay, no. Okay. Thank you, Toastmaster Venkatesh, for your table topic session. And please give a round of applause to Toastmaster Venkatesh. So with that, we would like to move on to our next section, which is evaluation. So I'd like to call DTM Ramlal. So over to you, DTM Ramlal.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Abhishek. Absolutely brilliant morning today. I learned a lot. A lot of learning has happened. I certainly enjoyed being here. The meeting, of course, started a little late. Online meetings normally start late, but offline, at least, please see that they start on time. So that's what determines the professionalism of a club, right? Online, of course, we have other glitches, the technological glitches, technical issues we can't do anything about. But even there, probably if we start 15-20 minutes ahead, we will be starting the meeting on time, right? That's one thing that we have to take care. And today's Sergeant at Arms, I did not know the distinction between the Sergeant at Arms and the President. The President's address was done by Toastmaster Tanmay Srivatsav, right?
He took the dual role.
He took the dual role. Now, I would suggest, being the general aware, I would suggest that these roles be, between two different people, because otherwise we don't feel the significance of the role as such, right? No, and even if a person is occupying two roles, let's say on a particular day, see that there is a gap in between. In the sense, clear the observers, whoever is in the meeting, if there are guests especially, they know very clearly what each role defines. what has happened is here both these roles have been clubbed. No one understood which part of it was sergeant at arms, which part of it was president's role. So if at all, I mean, if there are two roles that need to be clubbed, see that there is something in between. In the sense, the sergeant at arms, he can take the role of the Toastmaster of the day. Sergeant, because there's a president in between. So you know the clear distinction between the roles. Now, if the role flows from one person to the other, and the persons happen to be the same, the people who are witnessing don't know the distinction between the two roles. So it's always better that it is done by somebody else, right? So I could not understand who was the sergeant at arms. Of course, Mr. Toastmaster Tanmay Srivatsa gave the rules, protocols, the ground rules that every Toastmasters meeting follows. He did that very well. Opened the meeting with the theme, and he talked about the theme again. The theme is shared between the president and the sergeant at arms. So I cannot draw the clear distinction between the themes of the sergeant at arms. What did he talk on the theme as sergeant at arms? What did he talk on the theme as presiding officer? So those things I cannot make out. It's an opportunity for two people to talk on the subject, right? So we're taking away one person's opportunity to express himself when both of them are done by the same person. So thereby, please see that every role is handled by somebody else. So that it is an opportunity for every one of us to speak on the theme as well, right? I would love to speak on the theme. And remember, both these people have an opportunity to speak on the theme, the sergeant at arms and the presiding officer. So when I club these roles, I'm depriving somebody else that opportunity, correct? So somebody else who can talk on the theme. I wouldn't do that. Whoever's prepared the agenda, please take care of that. Maybe, if you want to club, if anybody has to take two different roles, the same person has to take two different roles. See that there's another role in between where the difference can be clearly felt. That's okay. I think that's what is to be kept in mind. Otherwise, I could not draw the distinction between the two roles. Of course, he spoke very well on the theme, music and the human mind. As I said, I could not make out what part of it was the sergeant at arms relating to the theme, what part of it as president he was relating to the theme. It was together. So this is one thing that you have to take care. Please see that sergeant at arms is done by somebody else, presiding officer is done by somebody else. So that again, presiding officer, I've seen in some clubs where presiding officer and Toastmaster of the day club together. So these roles, presiding officer and Toastmaster of the day clubbing together, again, we are losing the distinction between these two roles. If at all the presiding officer wants to take another role, he can take the table topics master, because there's a Toastmaster of the day in between who's different. So clearly you can see the flow happening from person to person, right? Otherwise we don't see the flow. It appears like one person talking. The intention is of a Toastmasters club is to see that everybody is provided some opportunity or the other to talk, right? So let's not club two roles together, consecutive roles together. That's one thing you have to take. That's one observation that I made. Otherwise, the presiding officer introduced the guest question. He also had a question round, which was really interesting. And he introduced the Toastmaster of the day exceedingly well, Toastmaster Abhishek. And from there, Toastmaster Abhishek took over. Absolutely brilliant on the topic. He's one person I love to listen to. Maybe he does a lot of work, a lot of research on the subject, whatever subject is taken by him. And then the various ways he related the chakras and the music was really marvelous. I wish I did not know clearly that distinction, how chakras are affected by the by music that we hear. Very well done. If at all there's only one suggestion for the Toastmaster today, you speak really well. Okay, I like even the way you flap your eyelids. You keep, I can see that most of us don't flap our eyelids. It's good for health actually. We keep our, eyelids constantly open. So what happens? The eyesight suffers. So he keeps flapping the eyelids. So that looks very interesting online. Very often I see that happening, right? And what I like his smile and like the way these are things that elevate a person. He smiles always, and he's always elated, enthused about whatever he says. And the words he uses, he puts power into every one of the words. If at all there's only one suggestion, see if you can, only one thing, because the pace is always the same. The pace with which you speak, the speed with which you speak is always the same. See if you can alter the pace. Sometimes fast, sometimes slow. That's what voice modulation is all about. All the other aspects of voice modulation you had, except that pace is missing. You don't have to speak at the same speed. Sometimes you can be fast, sometimes you can slow, sometimes you can pause, sometimes you shoot off, right? Show that distinction. And otherwise, your voice has power, enthusiasm, and the way you, orchestrated the entire meeting in front of us was really interesting. And next, the speaker, Toastmaster Anjani was the first speaker and the lone speaker. And you also introduced, Toastmaster of the Day also introduced that there are 3 segments to every Toastmasters meeting. So that's very, very important, right? He said this prepared speech segment, the table topic segment, and the evaluation. So now let's get into the prepared speech segment. There was only one speaker today, and that was Toastmaster Anjani, and he is being evaluated by Toastmaster Sankhya Day. Can I request Toastmaster Sankhya to present his evaluation, please?
Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Ramlal. So Toastmaster Anjani, congratulations for bringing out a different version of yourself. Now we come to know that you are a definitely cricket fan. What a lovely topic you have chosen. Failure brings out the best version of you. And when you spoke that, what I love is the content. You spoke about the cricket because that's something which you're very, very passionate about. You spoke about the the way how the Indian cricket team has managed to win over a sheer loss. That's a very beautiful story that you come up with. And in the end, you also focuses on that, how the cricket story is also linked to your life story as well. Now, since this objective of this particular speech is about your vocal variety and the body language, so I'd like to point a few things on which just went really well and which could have been improved on. Which worked really well is some of the key things on which you stressed out. For example, at a certain point you said he took 6 wickets. So that 6 wickets is something on which you really focused on, and that was the perfect way of saying or stressing out on a single thing. Now, in terms of what could have been improved on, now this is a model where you have to showcase your body language and your vocal variety. Now, throughout the meeting, you sit on in front of the camera. Now, what happens when you are sitting is you restrict yourself, your body language. In terms of when you are standing and the camera is a little bit front of you, even if you're using a mobile phone, you can still move to and fro, and you can sometimes come in front. So that way you can always play around. Whenever you are keeping the camera, make sure the camera should be towards your forehead, so that it should not come down or should not go up a little bit. So accordingly, you can place your mobile phone in a certain area. Secondly, when you are sitting and giving it, unconsciously it's happening, you are moving to and fro, right? So that to and fro is a sign of nervousness which comes, which we all have faced into. 2 things which shows a little bit nervousness, which you can all anyway overcome. One is the to and fro movement. Second one is a hand clasp. Frequently in front of the camera, your hand was clasping like this, which was distraction as an audience, which happens. Now, last but not the least, in terms of the overall story, we would always love to know more about you. So, in terms of the content, 80% was towards the cricket and 20% or 10% is about your own life. Had it been the opposite way around, it would have been a beautiful story. People would love to know more about you. With that, I would love to, I'd love to hear more about your next speeches. And with that, I pass it on to distinguished Toastmaster Ramlal.
Thank you, Toastmasters. Thank you. Absolutely brilliant evaluation. I mean, very relevant points were brought out by you as to how to improve the presentation. Really true. 80% of what he talked was relating to somebody else. Maybe 80% he could have related to himself. Yes, very true. And body language was what you were talking about. Since this project was all about body language, maybe you can experience those changes as suggested by your individual evaluator. Right? Absolutely brilliant. So we will go to the. Can I? One second. Yeah, wonderful. Now I request my individual assignees to present their evaluation because I have a call. So I'll take the call. Toastmaster Vishal, can you? I think I'll call the timer later, probably, right? Because evaluation, you've done evaluation is also over, and even the speaker. I mean, everything is done, right? There's nothing else to be timed. So please give your report, please. Timer, Toastmaster Vishal.
DTM Ramlal, I would request grammarian to go first so that I can time her as well.
Oh, fantastic. So you're timing even the other roles. Fantastic. Right. Grammarian. Let's get into the grammarian first. Toastmaster Dhwani. Let's see how she's going to take us forward. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Just 1 minute. I'll share my PPT. Can you all see my screen? Yeah, perfect. So today's word was reminisce, which means to recall. And please give a round of applause for people who have used this word, DTM Ramlal, Toastmaster Venkatesh, and Toastmaster Vishal. And for people whom I have missed, please pardon me for that. What are the good usages in the meeting? Chakras in our body. Without works, we can create space. Immaculate speech today, leverage to play around with topics and my ideas. Every person is unique. There is generation of communication. Teamwork anchors the meeting. Every meeting can be excelled as we progress. Get the pulse of the audience. Perseverance. Then what are the certain rhetorical devices that we've used in the meeting today? So rhetorical devices were number one, rhetorical question. Now, which means answer not required. Toastmasters DTM Ramlal used it. We don't know if people are really infused when it comes to online meetings. Over here, there was no answer implied to it. Why confine myself only till the depth of the subject? How can I confine myself within the time? Anaphora is the repetition of a word or a phrase at the beginning of successive clause. For example, Toastmaster Anjani used it. I have not failed. I have found 10,000 words. So the I have has been repeated before the clause and hence it is called anaphora. What is epithet? Is descriptive name. For example, Missile Man of India, which is APJ Abdul Kalam. Man of the match, who was Ben Stokes. Quotes. Quotes are an expression. Change is the only constant, which was used by Toastmaster Vishal. Toastmaster Mansi also used a quote which I missed, and it was from APJ Abdul Kalam. She quoted him. Now, hyperphora. Hyperphora is another rhetorical device, which means we ask a question and then we immediately give the answer. So, for example, do you like to listen to rock music? Do you know about the chakras? And again, Toastmaster Abhishek answered it immediately. Where will you get an opportunity to speak without being a speaker? In Toastmasters. Do you have to lie sometimes? Oh, every time. Rule of three, repeating a word 3 times. Service volley, service volley, serve volley, serve volley, serve volley, which was used by DTM Ramlal. Metaphor, analog, similes are comparisons. For example, treating Toastmasters as a tennis court. Over here, we used a metaphor. Tennis court was the metaphor over here. Music touches your nervous system, where we used a comparison, music, and we compared it to our nervous system. Certain recommendations to keep in mind: smash a sixes, it's called smashed a six. But he forgot, but he forget, it was but he forget instead, but he forgot. I couldn't able to, I wasn't able to. One of the loud music, one day I was listening to loud music. Doesn't able to, are not able to. So this was my report, and overall a great meeting. Thank you so much, and back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Grammarian. What a wonderful learning for us, right? We don't need Renan Martin when we have Toastmaster Dhwani as grammarian, right? Fantastic. Absolutely. Lucky club, Speaker's Den. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day. I mean, timer of the day, Toastmaster Vishal.
Thank you so much, DTM Ramlal. Now coming to the timing report, we have two disqualification today. That's both from the table topic segment. One is Toastmaster Ayan, who took 47 seconds, and another is Toastmaster Savitri. She took 57 seconds. Otherwise, all are qualified. I'm just reading out all the timings for your reference. Speaker one, Toastmaster Anjani, 5 minutes 45 seconds. In the table topic segment, Toastmaster Brijesh, 1 minute 6 seconds. Abhishek, 2 minute 10 seconds. Toastmaster Mansi, 1 minute 31 seconds. Toastmaster Dhwani, 1 minute 58 seconds. Toastmaster Sankhya, 1 minute 25 seconds. Toastmaster Vishal, 2 minutes 17 seconds. Toastmaster Chetna, 1 minute 32 seconds. Toastmaster Anjani, 1 minute 02 seconds. DTM Ramlal, 2 minute 8 seconds. And now coming to the evaluation segment, Toastmaster Sankhya took 3 minutes 15 seconds, and Toastmaster Dhwani as grammarian took 3 minutes 15 seconds. That's all from my side in terms of timing. I encourage everyone to cross the 1 minute mark next time in the table topic segments by building your own story and narrating your story with the theme. That would help you cross the 1 minute marks. So that's the message from my side. Thank you, and over to you, DTM Ramlal.
Excellent, Mr. Timer, Toastmaster Vishal. Absolutely enthusiastic way. Can you see he added enthusiasm in presenting the timer's report? I've seen very many people presenting as a matter of factly. They feel, okay, what is this role? They present it without any enthusiasm. But you can see the enthusiasm that stood out in his voice. So that's one way of highlighting and making your role felt by everybody. And I think Timer Vishal did that exceedingly well. Absolutely brilliant. Let's get to Toastmaster. Who's that? Meenal as a counter. Meenal, please.
Thank you. Thank you, General Evaluator. Hello, everyone, again. For the R counter, today's day was relatively better, I'd say. Good thing is that we all have learned to limit the usages of the filler sounds. So there was very less usages of However, there was an extensive use of predominantly two filler words, not sounds, but filler words, which are like and so. Toastmaster Ayan used 4 times the word like in his table topic speech. Toastmaster Brajesh, 3 times like. Toastmaster Dhwani, extensive use of the word as a filler. Toastmaster Shankhya, in his evaluation 2-3 times. One common observation that I had especially for Toastmaster Abhishek is the usage of the filler word so. Toastmaster Abhishek, you have extensively used the word so, and what I have realized is you have used the word so specifically in the beginning of each sentence. So probably there is a disconnect, and then you want to know how to continue from there, and you have used the word so as a filler. So that's something that you might want to check and come up with some interesting ideas to continue the conversation without using the filler words. But apart from that, I think overall good progress. Let's aim in the next meeting to limit our usages and be more prepared. With that, that's my report. Thank you so much. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Toastmaster Meenal, for that absolutely brilliant report. You counted me out. I also am susceptible to certain phrases which I use regularly. Especially, I felt when I was using the phrase "in fact." I don't know. You did not count the number of times I used "in fact" in my education session.
I just didn't mention
because I
it.
was conscious. I was conscious. I cut it out after some time. This comes into play whenever I use. In fact, I'm susceptible to that. And for some time, I stopped using it, but somehow it creeps in over and over again. And it's only our counter like you who keep enlightening me, and then that's the way I correct myself. Well done. Absolutely brilliant. Thank you for keeping me out of it. You could have actually taken me also into account. And as far as Toastmaster Abhishek is concerned, the word so is not at all required actually. You can start your sentence, whatever you said after so. That so is not at all required. Whatever you say after the word so is itself in a full sentence, complete sentence. So it only acts as an anchor. So you have to get rid of that, right? Be conscious in while you're talking. Same thing I did in my education session. I found that I had used in fact quite a number of times. I realized it myself and stopped it after that. So make a conscious effort to see that those repetitive phrases and words are not done and again, because it brings down the quality of our presentation. Very well presented, account Toastmaster Meenal, absolutely brilliant. Let's come to the Table Talks Toastmaster Venkatesh. Excellent topics and all, relatable conversational topics. Nothing that really makes us think and speak. So everybody was did an exceedingly good job. Topics were really interesting, and he has followed that one-line sentence rule, where you don't make your topic too long. It should be simple and addressable. I think everyone did a great job as far as addressing, including the table topic speakers, including the guest Sayan and guest Brijesh Dhani, right? He was also a guest. He also did a very good job, right? Probably the only suggestion I have, whenever you ask guests to speak, please give them after the experienced speakers have spoken on the topic, right? Because they won't know how to relate to the topic. They're new. So you have to try out regular Toastmasters and then come to the guests. And another suggestion is you ask them whether they would want to speak on the subject. Because some of them may feel nervous, some of them may feel not completely at ease. So if they say yes, you ask them or make them feel more comfortable and then give them a topic. I think that you did very well. You also told, you gave your reactions after every speaker spoke. That was the highlight of today's table topic session. Your reaction to whatever the speaker said on the topic was really wonderful. I don't know if you really did tell that the table topic speaker has to limit his talk from 1 to 2 minutes. Did you say that in your initial? You did cover. You did say that.
Yes, sir. I said, sir.
Very good, very good. You told us what table topics is all about, but that part of it I missed, where the speaker has to speak for not less than 1 minute and not more than 2 minutes. If you've done that, you've done a really justice to the job. You've done real great justice to the job. Excellent table topics session and excellent table topics speaking also from every one of the speakers as such. One that I really loved, that came to, that really impressed me was that Toastmaster Savitri. I don't know if she's Toastmaster or if she's a guest. She spoke about Lal Bahadur Shastri. And we have forgotten Lal Bahadur Shastri, one of the greatest personalities in the Indian political system. A simple man. He was only Prime Minister for one. When he died, there were hardly any rupees in his savings bank account. Such a simple man he was. He was the one who coined the phrase Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan. One of the greatest personalities who defined simplicity to the core. Unbelievable in the history of Indian, freedom struggle. Great hats off to him. And she brought out that personality in today's talk. It's good that I got reminded. I can reminisce about what I read regarding him. I wish all of us could be as simple as he was. With that, I enjoyed today's session. Excellent, absolutely. I enjoyed every bit of it. Honestly, let me tell you that I'm not making it up. It's true. I really enjoyed today's Sunday morning. I wish to be a part of speakers. All of you spoke really in an enlightening way, including, speakers, the table topic speakers, really fabulous, right? I hope I have not missed out anybody. I think I've covered everybody. I loved it. Back to the Toastmaster of the day to enlighten us even more so that I can smile like he does more often.
Thank you, DTM Ramlal, and please give a round of applause to DTM Ramlal. And all the role takers, Timer Visal, then Accounter Minal and Grammarian, and and Evaluator Sankhya. So with that, I think I'll hand over to our presiding officer, Toastmaster Sankhya, as already we are 15 minutes over our scheduled time. So over to you, Toastmaster Sankhya.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Abhishek, and what an awesome meeting we have. And before we wrap up for today's meeting, I have a few lines for our DTM Ramlal. This is a small poem which I just wanted to contribute to you, sir. So here it goes. DTM Ramlal stands tall, an illuminating guide in Speakersdale realm, where wisdom and eloquence reside. His sessions educate, inspire, they are a flowing tide. In the Toastmasters meeting, his insights never hide. As a general evaluator, keen eyes and words combined, Ramlal's fineness and acuity are of a rare kind. Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Ramlal.
Wow, wow, wow.
So, it's been great and a fabulous meeting for today, and especially thanks to DTM Ramlal, for taking us through, because many of us are very new to Toastmasters. That gives a very unique punch at what are the various meeting roles we have, and that was really, really helpful for all the club members. And on behalf of everyone, we'd like to say thank you so much for that. And without further ado, then we will like to close our meeting number 318 for today. And let's see you next week on the same time at 11 o'clock. And we will also have our club election as well in the coming Sunday. So in case if you have not nominated yourself as a club officer, please feel free to do that. You can always touch base with me as well if you require any clarification or help. So with that, we are closing our today's meeting. Thank you everybody for joining, and have a great weekend ahead. Bye-bye.
Thank you. You are the live wire of Speakers Day.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye, sir. Yeah.
And you have a researcher in Toastmaster Abhishek.
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Little bit, I know.
No, I heard even